Welcome back to the Metro. On 1019 WDET FM, I'm Tia Graham. A number of universities are worried about funding cuts that are coming from the Trump administration. That includes those in Michigan. Wayne State University, the University of Michigan, and Michigan State University collaborate, sharing research and attracting businesses to their campuses. Late last month, Michigan Tech joined the rebranded group that's now called Research Universities for Michigan. Last week at the Mackinac Policy Conference, presidents from 3 of the 4 schools spoke with WDET's Russ McNamara. They included MSU President Kevin Gukustowicz, Michigan Tech President Rick Kobeck, and Wayne State President Kimberly Andrews Espy. Espy began this conversation speaking about why the collective is necessary.
When you talk about the power of our 4 research universities, this is what the Research Universities for Michigan is all about. You know, we're all about using a new name, but the same mission relative to the impact that we're having on Michigan. When you look at the research universities, what are we about? We're about creating talent, we're about creating economic development, and there provides tremendous opportunity for each of us. Each of us are a different kind of institution, and when you put those 4 pieces of the puzzle together, that puzzle is so much greater than the sum of the parts. And Research Universities for Michigan is about communicating the for Michigan, that we're here for that expanded impact. And whether it's in AI, for example, or mobility that's been a part of our history, advanced manufacturing, or life sciences and sustainability, we have assets at each of our 4 institutions that we're bringing together and collaborating and really trying to drive economic development, not just for right now, but for the future. So when I think about challenges, for example, I think about what can we do together that really serves our state, that mitigates in some ways those challenges. And that's what Research Universities for Michigan is all about.
Yeah, Kevin, you guys all seem to have like a different specialty. There is obviously some crossover between all 4 of you. What does Michigan State do best, and in the way that can best support Michigan Tech, Wayne State, and the University of Michigan?
Sure. So, among the 4, we are the land grant, the Pioneer Land Grant, 170 years old now, celebrated that birthday back in February. We touch down in all 83 counties across the state of Michigan through our extension program, which is important, and a lot of the research and community outreach is touching down in those 83 counties, but we're finding ways to work in a more collective way around these areas of advanced manufacturing, sustainability, AI, and so agriculture obviously is one of the things that we do best, ag bio, but we also have 2 medical colleges on our campus, and we're finding ways to bridge that research that's needed in the health sciences with the ag bio work, and so really proud of that, of what we're doing. But again, as Kimberly said, we can be better as we're working together.
Rick, Michigan Tech is new to the party. Do you feel like you can hit the ground running and, keep pace? Because I know Michigan Tech pretty well, and this seems like a perfect fit.
So first of all, what's exciting about it is that it actually helps flesh out the portfolio of universities and the expertise that spreads across these 4 universities. As you indicated with the second question, what are your focus areas? I mean, obviously you have an incredible metropolitan university in Wayne State that's really world-renowned and a premier land-grant university, and now you have a technological university in a rural area. I think that really properly represents what Michigan is all about. And so each of us bring our strengths associated with that. And what's fun is that the faculty themselves are the ones that are doing the research, right? And so they get together and they collaborate and they bring their own specific expertise in, so that, as President Espy said, kind of the 1 + 1 = 3.
How has it been for enrollment? I graduated from Central Michigan University. When I went there, there was lots. They were at max capacity for everything. They're building new dorms and everything. Enrollment is dramatically down at that university, and several other similar-sized universities across the state have seen a drop in enrollment. How is Michigan Tech looking in that regard?
Yeah, we probably have a little different portfolio going on right now. We had the highest enrollment that we have had since the mid-1980s, and
wow.
Our plan is to have a nice, slow, steady increase at about 2 to 2.5% a year, so we can keep up with facilities and hiring faculty.
I was up there last summer, and there's a lot of new-looking buildings and My wife, who's a graduate there, was like, well, this looks different.
That's a good thing.
That is a very good thing. How is Michigan State navigating that? Because everybody I talk to, they're like, Michigan State's always on the list of applications.
We are very fortunate. We had 4 years in a row the highest number of applicants. I think we hit 67,000 applicants this year for about 11,000 spots. We grew a little bit last year, but we're kind of at capacity. Had the highest number of enrolled students in our 170-year history at about a little over 52,000, and we'll probably be right about there again this year, bringing in probably another 11,100 students. So we're fortunate and in that regard, but we have to deliver then, because we can't. We got to make sure that those students, once they're here, that they have all the resources to thrive. It isn't about surviving; it's about thriving and making sure our graduation rates stay high.
And how about Wayne State? Because Detroit's a growing city for the first time since the late 1950s. Are you seeing that?
And so was Wayne State, indeed.
All right.
Last year we welcomed over 6,900 new students to Wayne State. That was an increase of enrollment of about 5%, so we're very proud of that. And I think what you're seeing here around the table is that research universities provide an added value to students. It's not just about the impact of research on economic development, but think about our students. They're in the classrooms with faculty who are on the front edge of discovery. So they're learning things that will be in the textbooks from experts. They'll be in the textbooks of tomorrow, because oftentimes the lag between knowledge discovery and knowledge generation and dissemination is long. So the advantage of a top-tier education at a research university is you get that information right now, and you're seeing students vote with their feet.
Michigan is a part of this as well. I mean, do you feel like there is a sense of true collaboration between the four of you? Some of you are more new on the jobs than others, obviously, and there's been a change at the top at the University of Michigan. Does this collaboration come naturally?
So I'll just say a little bit. Each of us are scientists and engineers, and that's how you solve real-world problems, by working together. You each have your specific expertise that you bring to the table, and then together the sum is greater than the parts, right? And what you see around here is that we really are working together. For example, we hosted an event around Research Universities for Michigan on livable futures. Michigan is so fortunate to have so many assets in clean water and technologies. So how do we harness the capabilities at our universities? Our faculty got together, they're creating new ideas, we're seeding some of those projects, and look for some real successes, not just tomorrow, but over the next couple years.
Anyone else want to weigh in?
I'll echo everything Kimberly just said, and it's about making sure Michigan has a stronger economy. One of the things that really binds us is that we are committed to focusing our work, our research in areas that will help to drive the economy of the state, bring new businesses to Michigan, help grow the population, which has been one of Governor Whitmer's primary goals, our Grow Michigan Together initiative. And so I think we're committed to that.
Of course, the university presidents, but up through the faculty and the staff as well. Their commitment to Michigan, and they're going to get there by working together.
Is there room for further growth in the Upper Peninsula right now? I know you've got the big rivalry with Northern Michigan University, but
We'd be delighted to have you come up. The answer is yes.
Yes.
We have almost 1/3 of the land mass of the entire state of Michigan. We're glad to have. We got room for you.
Yep.
Excellent. But I do have to ask about federal funding. The Trump administration has had a war on academia thus far. Harvard University and Columbia have taken the brunt of it, but a failure to fall in line with an executive order on DEI initiatives or cutting back thus far has really raised the ire of the Trump administration. Are you worried about funding cuts right now, because you lose some of that money for research? That's some bread and butter. Well, I don't have to tell you that sometimes your budgets are already strapped.
Yes, federal fund. I'm very worried about it, and I think I probably speak for my colleagues. We're all. I think higher education in general is really concerned about this. Here, just in Michigan, our research $2 billion a year. Among our four universities that we rely on. It amounts to 25,000 jobs that helps to carry out that research. $8.3 billion in economic impact for the state of Michigan is relying on that federal funding. So we're all doing our best to educate legislators, congressional leaders about the impact to society if those research dollars are cut.
Does this have a ripple effect because they're also making cuts to the federal workforce? So if they're cutting back academia and they're limiting the places where graduates can go and move up into a life of civil service, I don't know. How bad could it get? I guess is what I can distill it down to.
I mean, it certainly is true that research grants support an awful lot of employees, right? It's not just the faculty, it's students, it's research techs, it's postdocs that are the workforce for tomorrow. And so one of the things that we're concerned about is that pipeline of those who will go on to discover the next medicine, the next technology, the next device. Because from idea to product is a very long lag. It can take 10 to 20 years. And so when the pipeline of productivity is slowed or interrupted, those staff and that expertise is lost. So we are concerned. We hear stories about folks now looking, instead of to our American universities, our own American students looking to study abroad, which is an unprecedented phenomenon. We are fortunate in Michigan to have some of the top-tier institutions across the world, and that brings real value, not just to Michigan, but to our nation.
How much will you guys be strapped if they start really limiting the number of foreign students that can apply to your universities?
We rely pretty heavily. I mean, we have I don't want to put a percentage on it, but it's certainly makes up a lot of that the 52,000 students, both at the graduate and undergraduate level. So we're doing everything to support those students. Back in early January, we put some rapid response teams in place to help those students who have either applied and they're trying to get here, or those who are currently enrolled and worried about if they go home for the summer, are they going to have problems getting back. And right now I feel good about where we are, but we're certainly watching the landscape.
Yeah, when the international students come, they obviously bring brilliant minds with them to work on the research activities with them, support the faculty, and pursue their degrees as well. So be there no mistake, there would be an innovation hit if you limit that flow of intellectual capital coming into our graduate programs.
Is there something that any of you would like to add?
No, the only thing I would say, just to bring the conversation in full circle relative to research universities for Michigan, is we are trying to make it easier to partner with all of our universities. So we created a new data portfolio that talks about the talent that's coming from the university, that provides real data about how do you access our facilities or how do you collaborate with us if you're looking for expertise. Business oftentimes needs some very specific things from universities, and universities are big places and hard to navigate. So the data portfolio really is quite helpful that we hope folks will use to create even more partnerships just beyond ourselves to the broader community.
That was WDET's Russ McNamara speaking with the leaders of Michigan State, Michigan Tech, and U of M about a group that's fighting to keep its federal funding. Importantly, this isn't the only way schools are collaborating. Although it's not yet supported by administrative leadership, faculty at many Big Ten universities are advocating for their respective leadership to sign a NATO-like agreement. It would allow the universities to share attorneys and pool financial resources in case President Donald Trump's administration targets one of them. Coming up, former University of Michigan President Santa Ono was blocked from becoming the University of Florida's president, even after he switched his political positions. We'll hear about that story and how higher education is changing with the political climate. We'll be right back right here on the Metro. You all stay right there.